Well, hello. This is another segment of Sober Up or Get Covered Up. You know, for years I was addicted to crack cocaine. I was instantly hooked the first time I took a hit. The first hit hooked me. The second time I used, I spent somewhere around the neighborhood of $14,000. Thinking that I found the best thing that I've ever had in my life. Was I so foolish? And that spun me off in about 2 years of working every day, making all this money that God allowed me to make, that He put this awesome business in my life. Made more money than most folks make in a half a year, in a month. 6 months I could work, and if I done right, I could have lived all winter for the other 6 months and just traveled and done what I wanted to. I made enough money that in 1 month I could have paid cash for a brand new Chevrolet, Ford pickup, or whatever, brand new vehicle. $25,000, $30,000. I made enough in a month's time to do that if I was so minded to. But the addiction to crack cocaine took everything I had. Took every penny of money I had. It took every ounce of self-respect that I had. It took every ounce of love that I had for my children, for my parents, for my life, even my own life. I was so destroyed after 2 years, and then the paranoia and the sickness set in of it, and I fought real hard to come back from that. I've always been an alcoholic, so I had 2 vices, or I had been usually just had one, and that was alcohol. And now I had crack cocaine in my life, which outweighed the alcohol, the money, my children, my parents, and in my own life. I submitted completely to the crack cocaine for somewhere around 2 years. And the day that it began to make me scared and paranoid, I realized then that it was something that I was never in control of. And I wanted to quit. But it was so hard for me to quit. By that time, I had lost all self-respect. I had lost all willpower. I had lost all belief and faith in myself and in any God that I could even imagine to come up with. I can look back in them years and I can see how God was there with me and carrying me through those times. But I was not willing enough to forgive myself for allowing myself to be there. That's the hardest thing as addicts, is to forgive ourselves for allowing ourselves to be into a drug addiction that we first thought we could control, and found out that we could not control it, and then it was too late. We just didn't know what to do after that point. But I'm here to tell you today that if you're struggling with crack cocaine and you're at that point where you want help, see, the only way you're going to be able to conquer that drug is to be willing to do anything and everything that's suggested of you from anyone that is sober and clean today. I suggest you find you a 12-step program, an NA program somewhere, and I suggest you go to every meeting you can. I suggest that you find you a sponsor in that meeting hall, and you do exactly what that sponsor tells you. Anything short of that, you will fall. You still may fall in the beginning, but there will come a time that you will see the presence of a God of your understanding in your life, doing for you what you cannot do for yourself. Now, everything I talk about and have said already sounds like a crock of crap, but it's not. See, healing becomes necessary to survive and to live. I've got many of friends that are dead now because of crack cocaine, methamphetamines, or heroin. Thank God I've never done heroin. However you pronounce the garbage, it's garbage. Crack cocaine's garbage. Methamphetamine is garbage. And everybody thinks they've got this delusional thought that marijuana is because they're legalizing it everywhere, that it's a godly herb. And when down through the centuries, man has poured chemicals on this godly herb, over the centuries, that the seed is no more pure. I'm not God, and I'm not going to say what He made it for. And I want to get off of marijuana. I want to get back onto the crack. Because see, crack cocaine will make you lose all your good thoughts, anything that is good for you, you will toss to the side. Anything that anybody says, you won't listen to. Because the crack has got you so hardly bound in your mind, and you're dealing with this fear of change, the fear of failure, the fear of never being the person that you really want to be. And out of that fear, you'll stay hid in the drug addiction. From embarrassment, from regret, from, not forgiving yourself. And see, the thing about the years that is behind you, you have to forgive yourself for them years. As you begin to take a different change in life, take on a different change and a different point of view, you'll understand what I'm talking about. See, without forgiving yourself and without putting the past in the past, and just learning how to live in today. Sometimes it's just 1 second at a time. Learning how to rely on a power greater than yourself to exist. Maybe it may be just the group that you're going to. It may be just the people that's around you. It's the power that is greater than yourself. See, when you're not alone, and you have other people in your life that you trust, you can begin to see differently. You got to learn to trust again. Because see, when you got out there on that dope, and you figured out, once you figured out that you wasn't in control of it, it was in control of you, you forgot how to trust yourself and your better judgment. See, deep down, every person that's addicted to crack cocaine is truly a good person. You didn't start out thinking that you was going to steal from your children, you was going to steal from your parents, or you was going to steal from anybody that you could to get your drugs, or you was going to prostitute yourself on the street, or whatever it is, or you was going to steal all the joy in your family, or you was going to steal the late nights, your parents or your husband or your wife or your children, because they hadn't seen you all day or 2 or 3 days, wondering if they was going to find you in an abandoned house somewhere, somebody had killed you over nothing, or you had took too much and blowed your heart up. Or, you OD'd. Simply just OD'd. Thinking that you could do more and you wanted more. That's the lie of the drug. It tells you that you can do more and you got to do more, and yet you're sweating bullets and your heart's racing and you think you've got to have it, and you got it, and you're doing it, and you ain't had a bath in 5, 6, 7 days. You ain't eat in those 5 or 6, 7 days. And you're begging on the street corners, and you're doing things. And if you're listening to this and you still got your wife and you still got your car and you still got a job and you call yourself a functioning addict, I will say this: if you keep doing it, you will no longer be a functioning addict. It will take all of this away from you. As someone that has destroyed his whole life for years, smoking crack cocaine and methamphetamines, meth is really no different. They're both killers. They're both stillers. They're both will snuff your life out. Of every ounce of life that you have in you, it will drain you. So today is your time to make a change. Today is the day that you say you've had enough. See, no one, me or the millions of people around you, cannot do it for you. But there's good news. The good news is that you can do it. You can throw the pipe away. If you got any dope and you're looking at this right now, this may be your last opportunity to not go to prison or to die over this drug and leave your children looking in a coffin at you. Leave your mother and father looking in a coffin at you. Leave your husband and your wife looking in a coffin at you, and dying early. I want you to look at all these rock singers and country singers, and 75% of them has OD'd, hung themselves, and committed suicide or something. And it is due to the nature of drugs and alcohol and being stressed out over not being able to control their lives. Had all of those millions of dollars and still wasn't happy. Got to ask yourself today what you want out of life. Do you want to live, or do you want to die? Do you want happiness and peace in your life, or do you want to stay in all the drama and the lying and the cheating and the stealing and shorting yourself on your happiness and peace? See, today you have the power to move forward. You have the power to say no. Nancy Reagan come out with a campaign years ago, and she said, just say no. And see, for years, and me being a drug addict, I was like, she don't know what she's talking about. But she did. All you got to do is say no. See, it takes that one step, saying no, refusing yourself of it, throwing it away, taking that out of the picture, and calling for help. See, with sincere emotions this way, you can kick the crack habit. You can kick the meth habit. You can kick any habit you have with them simple steps. First is just knowing that you're powerless and you can't do nothing about it. Second, knowing that there's a power greater than yourself can bring you back to sanity. I'm not a preacher this morning, but I know where God has been good to me in my life. Today is that opportunity for you to